Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Citrus Highlights News from the City of Citrus Heights. I'm Nicole Baxter, and today we are interviewing Citrus Heights Police Department's brand new Chief of Police, not new to Citrus Heights, but Alex. Chief, thank you so much for taking time today. I know how busy you are, so we appreciate you talking with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Nicole. Appreciate it.
So I thought we could start off by talking about your background. Obviously, we were very excited to make your announcement of your appointment just a couple weeks ago. So in case anyone missed that announcement, talk to us about your background in police work.
Okay, well, I've been in law enforcement for about 20 years. 15 of those have been here at Citrus Heights. So I was part of the first crew that helped start the police department back in 2006. At that time, I was a police officer. And so I've got to work patrol here and pretty much every rank all the way through, every specialty, other than they never gave me a dog or a motorcycle, which I was bummed about. But I've got to pet all the dogs and at least ride the motorcycle once. So at least that was cool. But I've been here in Citrus Heights now for like I said, 15 years. Had a lot of fun, met a lot of great people in this community, and couldn't be more excited to be our next police chief. I guess I am police chief. So there you go.
You are, exactly. Yeah. Has that set in? I see you haven't quite settled into your office yet, it looks like.
Well, the good people of Citrus Heights keep us so busy that I've been too busy being a chief to decorate the office so much. So, we'll get there little by little, but I plan on being here for quite some time, so I'm not in that big of a rush to have everything perfect.
Yeah. So before we move on from your background, I know we don't want this to be just a total resume talk, but I know that there are a couple of programs that you got to help kind of start and kick off that are near and dear to your heart. So maybe could you walk us through? I know you're passionate about the POP program. Maybe, just let our viewers know how you were a part of all that.
Sure. Well, one of the reasons I moved up here was the opportunity to start a new police department. And so as you can imagine, there was a lot of firsts up here. So I got to be a part of many, many different programs. I think nearest and dearest to my heart, and probably the first program that I helped out with, was our department SWAT team. So I had the opportunity to be an operator in that team, and then a team leader, and all the way up through the SWAT commander over the years. And that's a team of highly dedicated professionals that take that on in addition to their normal police work to keep the community safe. And great bunch of folks. Includes our tactical folks, our CNT folks, our TAC dispatchers. So it really is a cross-section of the whole department dedicated to handling those critical incidents. So that's probably the first program, and one that's kind of near and dear to my heart as well. Also, the POP unit, so that's our problem oriented policing unit. And just so the folks know, we are highly grounded in community oriented policing. Our first chief was Chief Boyd, who's now our city manager. He handpicked people from across the state purposely that had a passion for community policing. Many people have it on their logos and have it on their flyers, but we built this from the ground up, being a department that polices with our community in a way to meet their expectations and respond to their local needs. So about a year or two after we've started, while everybody had that general passion and knowledge, we realized that we needed a specialty unit that just focused on the more complex issues facing the community. So that was our problem-oriented policing unit. And at that time, Officer Ryan Canan and Alexi Fanopoulos were our first POP officers. And then they brought me over as our first POP sergeant. So it was actually an awesome experience, and got to help the department win 2 James Q. Wilson Awards, which was awesome. I think unprecedented at the time. And really the big takeaway that I really am proud about with those awards is you submit for a project, but the way they award it is they actually come to your agency and they see if you are living community policing, if you're living problem-oriented policing. And one of the big things that they do is meet with community stakeholders to see if what you wrote down on paper is what you're really doing in practice. And from the beginning, like I said, we had that solid foundation, and proud to say back-to-back James Q. Wilson Awards because of the community partnership that we have and all of the stakeholders in our community that help us be a great department. So couldn't be prouder of that. Tons of policy and programs and things that would bore people to death, probably, but a lot of firsts. Thankfully, I don't think there's any policies that were written about me.
That's good.
But I have seen a lot of Citrus Heights, and I've been at every corner of this building. In fact, this is the last corner, but I've been here before. I used to be the PST lieutenant right next door. So
That's awesome. So, our city slogan is solid roots, new growth. And I'm a sucker for good branding. It kind of feels like you embody that. I mean, 15 years in Citrus Heights, you've grown through the ranks. Chris Boyd at your appointment ceremony mentioned that it was a historic moment, that this is the first time our CHPD has had a chief appointed from within. But even more than that, you just touched on knowing this community, and growing from a police officer, 15 years ago to chief now. What kind of unique perspective do you think that brings to you in your role now?
yeah, I appreciate that. And so I will have to give proper respect to my first police agency. I actually started with the Ventura Police Department. So I think that they gave me my roots in how to be a police officer. But I really feel like I grew up as a leader here in Citrus Heights. I've gotten to work with and for, and even have people report to me that have excellent leadership skills and passions for the community. And just to be able to take those skills from those people, adapt them, and apply them to my own life, I think is where I couldn't be more proud of the group that we have here, of the personnel that we have, and then the leaders that have gone before us. So it's been awesome. As far as the solid roots go, I'm working on trying to solidify a little bit since COVID put on some pounds, but we'll get more solid with those roots pretty soon. I would say that the chief of police is a highly respected and honored position, especially for this department that is so passionately supported by the community, and the expectations are super high as well. And I think you have to have the right chief for the right time. I think when we started, Chief Boyd was the absolute right person to start us off with the handpicking those passionate people, holding a high expectation, and stressing us all out because we wanted to make sure we did good things, right? And he did a great job with that. And then when we transitioned to Chief Ron Lawrence, bringing an outside perspective, I think made a lot of folks in the community nervous, because we love our police department, we love our personnel. So who could be a better chief than somebody from the inside? But the right timing makes all the difference. And so Chief Lawrence was able to come in and offer a little outside perspective and show us some things that we could synergize and work together and do some other programs even better. I think he was the right person at the right time to get that done. Now, and I think that they listened to me because they gave me the stars. I think having an inside chief who has grown here in the community and has those relationships, I think it'll help lead us to the next chapter. We're going to be building back and then building forward as we go. And I think being able to lean on those relationships with some just awesome people in our community. We have some of the most active service clubs, citizens groups, veterans associations, neighborhood associations, chambers of commerce, all passionate people who aren't afraid to roll up their sleeves and do work to make their community better. And I couldn't be more proud to be a part of that. So luckily also, Chief Lawrence and Chief Boyd left me with awesome staff who are also passionate, highly skilled. One of my favorite things is sending my folks off to regional trainings or regional programs where other agencies can see them, or they can see other agencies and just realize how much talent they really have here. And they're able to bring back the best practices, region wide or nationwide, and put those into the programs here. And I think that's always been the model, and will continue to be the model. So can't be more excited for what the future holds.
Absolutely. Well, I know our community appreciates that. I mean, we always talk about how award-winning our Citrus Heights Police Department is, but you just touched on a few reasons why you guys grow such great leaders. You're an example of that. There was a lot of thought put into the, starting and building the police department and that culture. So I know that you're feeling like you have big shoes to fill, but you did fill the hat. You did mention that. And, looking historically back on what the police department has meant for Citrus Heights, touch on, just the overall impact that, us first becoming a city and then becoming a city that has its own police department. What has that meant for Citrus Heights? How is that actualized?
I think that's been a huge piece of the success of the community. I think, for a community to thrive, you have to feel safe. You have to be able to raise your kids in an environment that you feel that they're safe going back and forth. And, we can't control everything, but having your own police department here highly localizes our efforts. Prior to Citrus Heights becoming a police department, we were a contract city with the Sacramento Sheriff's Department. Great agency, great group of folks, but they have to watch the whole county, right? And so having that super localized focus is just not possible when you have to watch the whole county. And we still assist through the whole county, but our main focus, all of our programs, all of our strategies are here in this jurisdiction within the borders. I think that's really been a successful model. In fact, in the beginning, just having all of us inside the borders dropped crime significantly. We didn't have to do much but be here in the first year or two to see an impact. And then as that's gone forward, we've had to start to get more creative and actually strategically plan our crime reduction models. And, every year, talented staff have gone through there and come up with innovative, cost-effective, best practices and technology-based strategies to really reduce crime and improve improve the quality of life out there in our community. And I don't know how we keep doing it. Actually, I do. Some talented people, but there's been a lot of challenges. There's been a lot of external challenges out there for law enforcement and for the community. And we've still been able to lower crime repeatedly. And, at some point we'll hit a baseline where that's as low as we can go without additional resources or additional funding and those type of things. But so far this year, our property crime, knock on wood, is trending down. We are seeing a slight uptick in violent crime and in some of our traffic collisions, but I have staff focused on that. We're trying to finish the year strong to make sure that we can do the best that we can for the community. As I mentioned before, we're building back. We went through a time of having to dial back our staff, and I'm proud to say we did that without any layoffs at all. But due to budget constraints, we did have to leave some positions open, about 20% of our department at some point there. And so thankfully we've identified funding to be able to build back, but I'm not gonna allow our standards to slip. And we do have challenges. So I'm only gonna hire those diamonds in the rough out there that are gonna provide the good service for this community that we need. And it takes a long time. It takes a long time to properly train a police officer, get them out in the field and get them up to par. Even our professional staff have to go through rigorous background, rigorous training. So I'm proud to say my office, the professional standards folks, Sergeant Sean Gualco, Lieutenant Mike Wells, recruiting is top of mind for them. They've been out there being very creative and reaching out to the job market and trying to get those people. And for the folks here, I know we have a lot of civic pride, but that really is our biggest recruitment tool, is come to Citrus Heights because this is what the community does. The community supports the police department. The community wants to be part of the solution. The community doesn't just complain about problems. They're willing to work together and do those things. And that's a rare thing for law enforcement. And it's what keeps a lot of our folks here. And, we do have a strong internal focus on wellness. The way I look at it is, if my employees are happy and they feel valued and they feel taken care of, they're going to make the community feel that way to the extent possible, right? I mean, our staff see a lot of our community on their worst days, but we want to leave them with as good of a interaction as we can. And that's what we strive to do every day.
That's incredible. It's such a unique department. You can really feel the service-oriented culture that's been established there and has continued to grow. You touched on a few things that I did want to go back on and expand on. So we've moved into kind of your vision for the future of the department as our new chief of police. And it sounds like first and foremost, we need to set the ground level that there's a lot of building back to do, with various funding sources, the American Rescue Plan Act dollars. So bringing that pre-pandemic staffing level back, right? Hiring back that 20%. So I'm going to go ahead and do some screen sharing so you can plug some current open positions here. And if you guys are just joining us, we are live with Citrus Heights Police Department's brand new chief of police, not brand new, you've been in the role a couple weeks, but you've been very busy. So that's like, 6 months time. But we're here with the new chief of police, Alex Turcotte, talking about his vision for the department's future and giving some updates around the Citrus Heights Police Department. So if you are interested in more news related to the police department, please give them a follow. They're active on all the social media channels at Citrus Heights PD is their handle. So we're looking at your Facebook page, and you were just plugging your first goal of building back the department. And I know that you've got current recruitments out for community service officers and police recruits. Maybe talk us through the type of people that your team is looking for to fill those roles.
Well, I'm an optimist, and I like to say every challenge comes with an opportunity. And honestly, with the innovative and creative staff we have here, this challenge of building back actually represents a couple of unique opportunities we haven't had before. One of those being, when we first started, we had to have people that were ready to go from the moment they got here. So we did a lot of lateral recruitment, hiring, those kind of things. As the years have gone by, we've actually evolved that process now where I can take a person who's in high school as an explorer, and as they grow, they can graduate into positions all the way through becoming a police officer if they want to, or one of our professional staff positions as well. And so this that you're sharing here for our CSOs, this is one of our entry-level spots where you can come in without any prior police experience and work alongside our officers, doing almost a lot of the same things. Other than having to deal with suspects and bad guys, they take police reports, traffic collisions, they assist on investigations. It's a really good place to get a little bit of everything having to do with law enforcement. We even have CSOs and specialties. I have a CSO in my office that helps with Facebook and our press releases. I have a CSO that helps in investigations. So really a good way if you want to check out what it is to be in law enforcement, but you're not sure that you want to wear the badge and the gun quite yet, or you're not old enough to. You can be 18 with a driver's license and qualify for this job. Those are the minimum qualifications. In order to actually be successful and get one of our patches, you have to have strong character, show yourself and prove yourself that you want to serve the community and that you're willing to go that extra mile to provide that excellent customer service that we expect. So if any of you out there know people like that, have good people that you would like serving the community, please share this information, and we have the CSO opportunity there as well. Also, if you check on CalOps or the city website, you'll see a number of other open positions we have in various places. The one that's on the screen now, this is first ever. This is the first time we've ever had an external recruitment to send people to the police academy. We have sponsored some of our own internal folks, like I was just talking about with CSOs. We've sent a couple of our CSOs to the academy in the past. We have interns that we have worked here for a while that we sent to the academy, but this will be our first time where you could go straight through the academy from an external process. And so as you see this, the gentleman here with the great smile, that's Officer Ephraim Choi. He actually started here as a level 3 reserve. He was our first level 3 reserve and is all the way through, and he's a police officer on his own now, serving the community proudly. So he's our poster child, if you will, for external recruitment.
That's awesome. Again, if you want more information on those openings, you can follow the Citrus Heights Police Department on social media at Citrus Heights PD, or you can visit CalOps for those job openings. So some exciting openings. I love your perspective. I love your positive energy that this is an opportunity. While you're growing the department and building back those positions, what is the police department going to stay focused on? And maybe if you can go so far as to talk about a little bit further into the future, what do you think that will look like here in Citrus Heights?
Sure. Well, our number one priority is to make sure that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, emergency calls are handled, right? So when we had to limit our staff interaction, or even during COVID when we had to lock things down and stuff, we've always made sure that our patrol division was staffed adequately with folks that could respond to emergencies. And so that included, unfortunately, having to take some of our specialty units and suspend them for a time being to make sure there were enough officers working in patrol. And so some of our units that have been highly effective in the past, like our special investigations unit, some of our youth and family service officers, A lot of our motor unit has had to help fill patrol positions because that's what we have to do. We have to make sure that there's that lifeline for our citizens. I'm happy to say that we have a number of applicants identified who will be either are starting or will start here shortly. And we should be able to build back those patrol functions with newer officers, which will allow us to take some of those seasoned and specially trained officers and put them back into specialties, focusing on the extra that we're so used to here at Citrus Heights. And that also is another opportunity to redesign a little bit. And so what we're looking for into the future is we're going to be, I don't want to give too much away yet because we'll do a whole profile on them when they get here, but we do plan on having a unit that is specifically focused here in the jurisdiction on complex but street level quality of life, the things that affect our average citizen out there in the field, whether it's homelessness, gun violence, persons crimes, gangs. I'm proud to say that we don't have any gangs that call Citrus Heights home, but that's one time you stop paying attention to something like that and allow any criminal activity to fester, and those things can grow. So we do have some gang members who try to pass through and cause problems every now and again, and we like to make sure we stay on top of that. But really, that'll be the focus. So we have officers assigned to task forces that can actually take investigations outside of our community and handle that. But this unit, when we build back, the next step forward is going to be having a unit just here in Citrus Heights, basically being the strategist of our crime reduction model. So that is a thing to touch about for those that don't know. You would think you're the police, and so obviously all police departments know exactly what's going on in their community at any given time. I'll tell you, a lot of times other agencies can be just responsive. If you call, then we'll go. What we try to do is be proactive in our strategies. So please call and let us know what's going on, because we'll never know all those things. But we take that data and we have crime analyst folks. I have command staff, management teams, and even line level folks that dive into that data every month to try to develop the strategy for the next month. And the way we look at it is, I'll never be able to solve every problem, but if I can solve one problem and then move to the next problem and move to the next problem, we're going to be a lot more successful in the long run than just trying to put a Band-Aid on everything, right? And so right now, all of our officers, much like I explained with that POP model in the past, all of our officers are trained in crime reduction and developing these strategies. Every one of my patrol teams goes out in the field with a mission of the day to try to make sure they're impacting crime in their community or quality of life issues or traffic problems and those type of things. And they do that while they can in between calls. The vision I have moving forward is there'll be a unit that's all that they do. So they'll have their finger on the pulse of the crime reduction strategies. They will come alongside our patrol officers and also lead them through some of the more complicated issues that are out there. But really, there's news breaking crime, and there's always something that sounds very serious, but what affects the normal resident in our city is somebody stealing stuff from my car, someone stealing things off of my car, I don't feel safe in my home, or I don't feel safe traveling down the roadway. Those are the things that really impact a normal person's day to day. And that's what we want. That's what we strive to try to improve. And we've been very successful, and we're still successful at the staffing levels we are now. I believe as we build back and move forward, we're gonna see even greater things. So that's the plan, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, that's exciting. Definitely feels like a new chapter under your new leadership, as well as a potential reorganization, new hires coming on board. I hope that everyone in Citrus Heights can feel that momentum and have patience as you guys build back, but also have some excitement for what the future could look like. So again, I know you're so busy. Thank you so much for your time today, Chief. Before we sign off, is there anything you wanted to leave our audience with?
No, I will tell you though, well, I said no, but I mean yes, I do want it is awesome to be able to take this role as your chief of police. I do appreciate that. And having been in this community for 15 years, I actually was very emotional with how much support immediately was given to the chief and my staff as we move forward. And really, that has everything to do with the strong foundation that has been laid throughout the years. And so some of it's on credit, but some of it is also people that I've worked with a lot in the community as we've been here. So I'll just say for me, excited to be the chief of police, but also very touched by the support that this community has shown this agency over our 15 years, and the support they specifically have shown me in the past. I think I'm going on week 3 now. So yeah, some patience for the rookie chief, but no, we've got great staff here and we're working hard to get things done in the community. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Well, great sentiments to end on. And thank you, Chief, for your leadership and for taking the time today to talk to us. We'll be in touch. And I know there's going to be more news coming out from the Citrus Heights Police Department. So stay tuned, everyone.
All right, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.